Hey, what's up, God's people and fellow ambassadors? Welcome back to the Ambassadors channel. We're here. It's all about motivating you, the people of God, to be true disciples of Jesus Christ. You've heard me say before that many people believe in God, truly believe in God, but have not taken the next step to become disciples and practitioners of what they profess. All right, let's go ahead. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about Proverbs chapter 23, verses 6 to 7. I'm reading from the King James Version. I am a King James Version kind of guy, and I just like reading the King James Version. I grew up on the King James Version, and so maybe that's why I favor it over the other versions. I do read others versions, but the King James Version is what I tend to favor. So let's take a look at the King James Version. Uh, Proverbs chapter 23, verse 6 to 7. So it says, "Eat thou not the bread of him that hath an evil eye, neither desire thou his dainty meats, for as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee." And so let's take a look at the New King James Version. In same chapter, same verse, it says, "Do not eat the bread of a miser, nor desire his delicacies, for as he thinks in his heart, so is he." So this is one of those scriptures that I think that many people are very familiar with. You've either quoted this to someone or someone has quoted it to you in saying, "So a man thinketh, so is he." But I want to talk to you about this, in a different kind of way, kind of focusing on the conditions of the heart. So there are a lot of things that the enemy throws to us to see if we're going to grab a hold of it in our mind. When I say things, I'm referring to thoughts. In this, for context, I'm referring to he throw a lot of thoughts to our minds, right? So in reading this as well, I see that there are distinctions between the thoughts of the mind and the thoughts of the heart. The two are different. The thoughts of the mind and the thoughts that comes from the heart. So here's the breakdown of it. A thought comes to mind. The devil throw a thought in our mind. Now it's up to us to decide what we're going to do with that thought. What we're going to do with that thought, right? So we will either do one or two things. We will either reject the thought, dismiss the thought, or we will embrace it by acting up on it. Now, I want you to know that you have the power. We have that power of choice to determine whether or not we are going to embrace the things that the enemy throw our way each and every single day. In this case, we're talking about the thought that come to mind. Now, when he throw these thoughts to mind, what makes it a fleeting thought is if the thought come to mind and we reject it and we deny it right away, then it's just a fleeting thought. However, if we act up on that thought, if we embrace that thought now enters into the heart. So the thinking that proceeds from the heart are really the things that we did not cast down when they came into the mind. These are the thoughts and the ideas and the beliefs that the enemy threw in our mind that we didn't cast it down immediately as it came to mind. We entertain it and allow it to enter into the chambers of our hearts. And so as believers, as disciples, it is very important that we practice safeguarding our heart against the things that enter in. And how do we do that? We do that by the word of God. We do that by being mindful and very careful of the things that we are entertaining and partake of. Also, what is equally important is the things that are coming out of our heart as well. We should be mindful of what is coming out of our heart. The Bible tells us that, it's not what goes into a man that defileth the man, it's what comes out of the man that defileth that man. And out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So it is coming out of the heart. And so we have to safeguard, right? We have to be mindful of what is coming out of our heart. Here is something that I learned that I want to share with you. If something is coming, wants to come out of your heart, you know when it's good or when it's bad, right? If it's not good, if it's something that's not going to uplift, if it's not something that's going to strengthen, if it's not something that's going to motivate, if it's not something that's going to encourage and empower and correct, then we should be starving it to death. Because when we speak those things and act upon those things, we give it life. But if you don't speak it and if you don't act upon it, but you cast it out and condemn it, you starve it to death. That's right. We give the things that proceed out of our heart life to continue to stay there. But when you starve it and replace it with the word of God, now you are exercising the power of your choice, and you're purging and cleaning your heart and to allow those good and pure things to enter in. And so this is what this proverb is really talking about. That people, their actions does not always align with what's in their heart. And so we as people of God should not always be so quick to embrace everyone and everything that smiles in our face. Everyone that give us an invitation at the table, because I can pretend, I can act, but the true motive of my heart you will never know. Only God knows that. We ourselves don't even know what's fully in our heart. The Bible let us know that the heart is deceitful and it is wicked. Only God knows the heart, and only God knows the heart. I say it again. That's why he judges the heart of men. He judges the heart of men, not so much the actions of men, because the actions of men can be very deceiving. A good man, a good person now, someone that we consider to be good, can have an evil heart, because God sees the heart of man. His good or have ulterior motive. And so this is what Proverbs chapter 23 and verse 6 to 7 is really saying. So a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Not necessarily what he is doing, but you got to give them time. You have to allow them to go through the process of time to actually determine or decipher whether or not their intentions are pure. Again, I'm Tyrone, the ambassador. I hope you enjoy this small teaching on Proverbs chapter 23, verse 6 to 7. Hopefully, you'll come back and revisit us. If you did not press the subscribe button, go ahead and do so right now.